Everybody is talking about Joey Logano at North Wilkesboro. And fairly so. He led 323 of 450 laps, a career best, in the first Cup Series points race at that historic little track in 30 years. It was total domination. But underneath that story is a single moment on lap 183 that quietly destroyed more race results than anything else that happened all night. Alex Bowman turned for pit road. He came from the outside lane, cut across Tyler Reddick's nose, and spun them both. And because that caution fell right in the middle of green flag pit stops, it didn't just end Bowman's night. It trapped his own Hendrick Motorsports teammates a lap down, including Chase Elliott, who was running inside the top 5 at the time. And here is the part almost nobody has connected. Chase Elliott wasn't just racing for a finish that night. He was racing in a semifinal, with $1 million on the other side of it. So today, let's trace exactly what one mistake on lap 183 actually cost, because the ripple effect is genuinely staggering. Stay with me. Welcome back to Freedom Line News, the channel where we don't just chase the drama, we break down what really happened. If you're new, hit subscribe. This community is growing every week. Let's get into it. To understand why this mattered so much, you have to understand what kind of race North Wilkesboro turned out to be. This was old-school racing in the purest sense. Long green flag runs, only 5 cautions all night, and passing was genuinely, brutally difficult. The shorter track, the new short track package, and drivers being more cautious with contact meant that moving forward through the field was close to impossible. Which meant one thing above all else: track position was everything. Both Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin said afterward that the race was effectively decided by whoever came off pit road with the lead on that final stop. That's how much it mattered. And here's the statistic that tells you the whole story of the night. When the checkered flag flew, only 6 cars finished on the lead lap. 6. Everybody from 11th place back was at least 2 laps down. Denny Hamlin, who finished second, actually said he was surprised there were even that many. So in a race like that, getting caught out on a caution isn't a minor setback you recover from. It's the end of your night. So let's go to lap 183. The field is in the middle of green flag pit stops, the most delicate, highest stakes sequence in any race, because half the field has pitted and half hasn't. And the running order is completely scrambled until the cycle finishes. If a caution falls in the middle of it, the drivers who already stopped get punished, and the drivers who haven't get rewarded. It's simply the luck of the timing. And that's exactly when Alex Bowman, in the number 48 Hendrick Chevrolet, decided to come to pit road. The problem was where he was on the track. He was running in the outermost lane, and Tyler Reddick was to his left. To get to the entrance, Bowman had to cut all the way across. He dove down, clipped across Reddick's nose exiting turn 2, and sent both cars spinning. Caution out. And I want to be fair here because this is important. There is no indication this was anything other than a mistake. Bowman wasn't racing Reddick for position. He wasn't retaliating. He wasn't being reckless for the sake of it. He simply misjudged a pit entry from a difficult lane and got it wrong. Drivers make that mistake. But at that exact moment, in that exact race, it was about the most expensive mistake anybody could possibly have made. So let's count the cost. Chase Elliott and William Byron had both already made their green flag stops, which meant when that caution flew, they were caught on the wrong side of the cycle, scored 2 laps down. The wave-around rule gave them 1 lap back, but that was it. And here's the brutal part. The final 250 laps of that race ran almost entirely green. There were no more opportunities, no lucky cautions to bunch the field back up. When the race restarted on lap 193, only 15 cars were still on the lead lap, and Elliott and Byron were not among them. Now think about where those 2 drivers were before it happened. Chase Elliott was running inside the top 5, a genuine contender for the win at a track where he's historically strong. William Byron was around the top 10. Elliott finished 17th. Byron finished 12th, 2 laps down. Neither one ever got back on the lead lap. And it wasn't just those 2. Kyle Larson had his own separate problems. Contact with Connor Zilisch on pit road broke a wheel, and he picked up 2 pit penalties on top of it, ending up 15th, 2 laps down. The end result? Every single Hendrick Motorsports driver finished 2 or more laps down at North Wilkesboro. Their best finisher was Byron in 12th. For a four-car super team with the resources Hendrick has, that is close to a worst-case scenario night. And the caution that triggered the worst of it came from inside their own building. But here's the part that elevates this from a bad night into something genuinely remarkable. And it's the connection almost nobody has drawn. Chase Elliott wasn't only racing for points that night. North Wilkesboro was the semifinal round of NASCAR's in-season challenge, the bracket tournament with a $1 million prize at the end of it. And Elliott's head-to-head opponent in that semifinal was Todd Gilliland, the 25th seed. The underdog nobody expected to still be dancing. Elliott finished 17th. Gilliland finished 8th, which means Todd Gilliland is now going to Indianapolis to race Ryan Blaney for $1 million. And think about the road he took to get there. He has now eliminated Daniel Suarez, Carson Hocevar, Alex Bowman, and Chase Elliott, 2 Spire drivers and 2 Hendrick drivers. Gilliland himself said afterward, quite simply, "I'm a lucky guy right now." Now let's be honest and careful, because this is where a lot of channels would overstate it. We cannot say for certain that Chase Elliott wins that matchup if the caution never happens. Racing doesn't work that way. Anything can happen over 250 more laps. But we can say this with confidence. Elliott was running inside the top 5 when he got trapped, and Gilliland finished 8th. A top 5 car beats an 8th place car. That's not a wild leap, that's just arithmetic. So while nobody can prove the counterfactual, the reasonable read is that one mistake by a Hendrick driver on lap 183 very likely knocked a Hendrick teammate out of $1 million tournament and handed the opportunity to a 25th seed from Front Row Motorsports. So where does this leave things? Bluntly, there is going to be an uncomfortable conversation at Hendrick Motorsports this week. One outlet put it perfectly, saying Bowman and the number 48 team may get a side-eye or two around the shop. And that's the awkward reality of a super team. When 4 cars share a building, one driver's mistake doesn't stay contained to one driver's result. It spreads. But it's also worth keeping perspective, and this is the balanced view. Bowman didn't cost his teammates anything on purpose. Green flag pit cycles are chaotic by nature, and pit entry from the outside lane at a tight short track is a genuinely difficult piece of driving. Every driver in that garage has misjudged something similar at some point. The difference is that most of the time, it doesn't detonate in the exact moment where the consequences compound across an entire organization and $1 million bracket. Bowman got unlucky with his timing as much as he got it wrong with his execution. And the wider lesson from North Wilkesboro is the one that should worry NASCAR more than any single driver's mistake. When track position matters this much, when only 6 cars finish on the lead lap and passing is nearly impossible, then one badly timed caution can decide the outcome for a dozen teams before the race is even 2/3 done. Elliott, Byron, Bell, Buescher, Cindric, Larson. None of them lost their night to a rival's aggression or their own lack of speed. They lost it to timing, and when timing outweighs speed, that's a conversation worth having about the racing product itself. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Alex Bowman deserves real heat from inside Hendrick for that lap 183 mistake, or is that just racing and bad luck for everyone caught behind it? And do you believe Chase Elliott wins that $1 million semifinal if the caution never falls? Drop it in the comments, hit like and subscribe to Freedom Line News, where we cover every NASCAR story with the detail it actually deserves. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.